Okay, hello, my name is Shane and I'm coming to you from the deep south of New Zealand. Beautiful Invercargill. That's the school my kids went to over there, Ototara School, and I've just picked up a coffee, which in New Zealand we call a flat white, from our local restaurant, which is called Ziff's Cafe and Bar. And look, I got a few things that I wanted to ask you guys to help with today. I've had this old girl now for 4 years. This is my 2005 Subaru Legacy. It's a JDM model, Japanese domestic model. I bought this. Sorry.
ETC カードが挿入されていません.
Thank you for that. That's BMO. I bought this about 4 years ago now. Second hand, imported from Japan. Everybody seems to do that over here in New Zealand because it's pretty affordable, and we drive on the correct side of the road over here in New Zealand, same as they do in Britain and Japan and Australia, mate. So I do a lot of Ks, and the problem that I have is I am looking for a new car. I'm looking for a daily driver, and I'm not going to be able to afford that yet. I can't afford it yet. I want to be able to pay for it in probably 18 months to 2 years, and I'm looking for, I guess I'm looking for the Holy Grail, really. I'm looking for something that, wow, it's hard to even know where to start, but I need your help to help me narrow down the options, okay? I do about 25,000 Ks a year, which to you American guys in miles is about 450,000 miles a year. I don't know how much it is. It's less than, it's probably less than that. But anyway, it's, I do about 25,000 Ks a year. I work in addictions. I'm an addictions expert. I do assessments across the beautiful southern region of the South Island, right the way up to the Lakes District, Queenstown, and Invercargill, those areas, all the way across to Dunedin. And so I do a fair few Ks. And I've had this. This is this particular car, BMO, is the 3-litre Boxer 6. It's the H, and it's got about 250 horsepower, 300 unicorns of torque, and it's actually been pretty good. I have to say, I've had a few Scooby-Doos in the past. I got a wagon because I've got a couple of dogs. We've got the dog thing in the back there to keep them locked up and secure, and it's really nice. I mean, this thing cost me about $8,500. But the problem is now, it now has 281,000 Ks on it, which is about 4 million miles. I don't know what that is. What, 150,000 miles? I'm not sure. And everybody knows Scooby-Doos are only supposed to last for about 100,000 miles, aren't they? And then they're supposed to start falling apart. And to be honest with you, this car has been fantastic. I mean, it's got a pretty basic interior. It's got a DVD player, and it's got a GPS, which tells me that I'm just off the coast of Kyoto, I think. It's got hard drive, plays music. I'm only doing 93. Keep your pants on. It's got the 5 VAT, it's the auto, and it's reasonable. It's it's pretty good fun. There's absolutely no steering feel. It never has been, so I don't think that's an age issue. It's a 4-wheel drive issue. We have a lot of off-roads here. I like to do a lot of fishing. I go to the mountains and go fishing, and this has been okay for that. I can't go bush. Just shut up now. I can't go bush bashing with this. Look, I'm just going to turn that off. But we do sometimes have some gravel roads. Now, in the past, I've had all sorts of cars. My first proper car was an Alfa Romeo, the GTV6, fantastic car. It was lovely when it ran, which wasn't very often. I didn't always make it home, but when I did, I looked pretty damn cool. Cooler than that. The best 2 days of my life were buying and selling a Jag XJS. It was a 5.3 V12. I could afford to buy it, I couldn't afford to run it. It used to keep me awake at night. I've had a few crappy cars. I've had an MX-5, or as you say in America, you call it the Miata. That was wonderful. My wife bought me that. I was looking to get a motorbike, came home, and she'd bought me the Miata. I was sitting on the drive. I had that for a few years. It was great. Probably been the best cars I've had. So this car doesn't owe me a cent, but I love driving. We've got some incredible roads here. You know, the road to Queenstown. Shit, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm supposed to be at the post office. I've got to drop these letters off and pick up to empty my mailbox. We've got some fantastic roads. I love driving. I'm an enthusiastic driver. I don't know my way around a car, or let me at least put it this way: over the last 20 years, I've discovered that I don't know how to fix a car, so I get somebody else to do it. I've learned enough to know that I'm really hopeless at it. So I'm really lucky to have some great mechanics. Oh, there's a one of those 8.6s. That's the Toyota version. I'm lucky to have a great mechanic, Peter Ford, at Ford Autos here in Invercargill. He's been my mechanic for the last nearly 20 years, and the guy's great. I mean, he really knows his stuff. Apparently he's the Toyota guru, but I wouldn't have one of those, so I wouldn't know. Now, I've owned a few European vehicles, and I love owning European vehicles. I love the performance, I love the style. I do not like the reliability. The only European service agent that we have down here, or official European service agent we have down here, is for Volkswagen. They recently opened up a new dealership here in town. Other than that, Porsche, BM, Jag, any car, you have to travel. I've got to travel at least 2.5 hours to Dunedin or 2 hours to Queenstown, which, if the car is broken down, is not going to be a lot of use to me. For example, the last car I had, the European car I had, there was a Saab. That was the Saab 9.5. It was an 02 version, and it was the 9.5 Aero with a Hirsch modification kit, and that was good for 300 horsepower. But boy, oh boy, when that thing started to fall apart, which it did from the very day that I bought it. I mean, it had like 90,000 Ks on it when I got it, real cheap. And when that thing started to fall apart, what a nightmare. I used to, used to keep me awake at night, worrying about the damn thing. So I wasn't sorry to see that go. And in fact, I sold that for twice as much as I paid for it. A guy flew down from Auckland to take it off my hands, and I guess that was probably, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He probably hasn't made it back to Auckland with it yet, but so be it. So my options that I've got are actually to hang on to this vehicle, keep it, run it to the ground, which probably will take another 6 months. I don't know. I kind of imagine that my ideal option would be to have, I don't know, maybe a Range Rover, something that's a bit older. I can't afford a new one, and I can't justify a new one, and again, servicing it would be out of the question, but I quite like the new Range Rovers, or maybe a late-ish model Cayenne. But I'm really hankering after another manual coupe, or even a convertible. I don't know, preferably a coupe. And I've got to tell you that my dream car at the moment is the F-Type, a white F-Type. I mean, I actually, I know that the manual is only the 3 litre, and the 3 litre supercharged would probably be just fine. I love the concept of a balance and poise. I've seen a few, Saturn, if you've never driven one, I just love it. I love that mix of gentleman hooligan, which is kind of a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of how I might like to see myself, as the gentleman hooligan. So it's kind of like that. I love the concept of the F-Type. I've looked at the Porsche Cayenne, And you can pick up a 2010 Cayenne for like $50,000, maybe $60,000 here in New Zealand. It's incredible value. What else has been on my shortlist? Maybe an S5, or I don't know. There's something about the M3. I went through a period of just wanting nothing but an M3, but I kind of blow hot and cold about that now, and I don't know what that is. They're not particularly commonplace here, but maybe they're too commonplace. I'm not sure. Even the 535, the 535 looks like I know it's no two-door coupe, but I actually quite like the look of that. And in some instances, I think maybe a 535 would be more my style than an M3 or a 3 Series. I don't know. I'm not making any sense. But this is not a rational decision, and I know that. I know that there's not a lot of rational thought involved in this discussion, in this concept, because, who the hell would think of getting a fucking F-Type? That's an entirely Jesus, this is a 30 zone. I'm doing some repairs here, and I'm storming along at about 60, which is I think if you do more than 30 k's over the limit here in New Zealand, you stand the chance of losing your license. So I've got no points on my license. Touch cheap Japanese plastic. Where was I? It's totally irrational to be considering a two-seater coupe. But then I could hang on to this and run it into the ground, and maybe when this collapses, then I'll keep the F-Type and move into an older Disco or a Range Rover or an old Cayenne or something. Again, not much idea of it as a daily driver though, is it? A 4.8 litre turbo doesn't make a lot of sense doing 25,000 k's a year. But at least I've got the two vehicles. If one of them plays up, I can at least drive the other, and it gives me enough space to there's an AMG. It gives me enough room to to modify one while I'm driving the other. So I don't know. I'm at the stage where my kids have both left home. It's only my wife and I at home, and I'm just got the last few years of seeing them through university, which means I've got a bit of time on my hands. I've got a little bit of money in my pocket. So this can be a business purchase. I run my own business, so this can be a business purchase, business expense, and all of the running costs in theory ought to be a business expense, because that would be conceptually how this would be planned. And I'm hoping that my accountant and the IOD don't watch YouTube. None of that's particularly relevant. So yeah, look guys, I'm thinking if anybody can think of some suggestions, I may end up, no, I won't end up sticking to something mundane and Japanese. I'm not going to do that again. I'm looking for something a little bit more special. Bear in mind, this is New Zealand. We don't have the same access to aftermarket parts. We don't have the same access to dealerships. Prices really vary. Some of the Japanese import models are as cheap as anything. You're looking for your JDM stuff. Man, that stuff's really reasonably cheap here. And our proximity to Japan means that shipping and things like that are pretty cheap. And there's a big market here for it. But I don't know. The only Japanese car I could consider owning maybe would be a Scooby-Doo, but other than that, I don't know. I don't have a lot of passion for that. So I really relish good engineering. I don't know. Maybe if I could get some feedback from anybody out on the interwebs, from YouTube. Oh, my wife is going to need a new car too. We leased her car for her, an Odyssey, the brand new Odyssey in 2006, when the new models came out. It was top of the line. My company leased that for her, and she had that, I think, as a 4-year lease. And then when that lease ran out, we purchased the vehicle. She's still got that, so it's like 11 years old. And we'll probably be leasing her a new vehicle in a year or so. So that means she wants something really tall and something in fizzy color. I don't know. She sat in a $150,000 Discovery the other day, the brand new Discovery, and she said, "Oh, this is the one." And that was after sitting in a big Merc. Oh yes, she said, "This is the one." But I don't know. I mean, I really can't justify spending that kind of money on. And she doesn't look after cars as well. It breaks your heart. If you see a car that she's been in, I mean, it breaks your heart. She needs something safe rather than something, but she wants something tall. So it's almost like a bright red double-decker bus would, a London bus would be her ideal vehicle. But she wants something really tall. So I just really struggle. It'll be dependent on the color, and we'll probably lease that. Which means that as a third vehicle, it's something really practical. I don't have to have a practical car anymore. The Odyssey was a 7-seater. We don't need that anymore. The Odyssey is virtually a 2-seater. She has all of her stuff all over it, and there's never more than 2 seats free anyway, and it's expensive to run. There's no need. It's only the 2.4 VTEC engine, but it's pretty expensive to run. She doesn't need anything like that, but she does quite a few Ks too. She's a midwife, so she does about 20,000 Ks a year. So our fuel bills are expensive. So if there's anything else you want to know, just ask me in the comments. I really appreciate any feedback. Subscribe to my channel. Normally, I'm looking to develop a channel reviewing hi-fi. Hi-fi is one of my other real passions. Hi-fi, fishing, and vehicles. But there's vehicle reviews all over the world, and I can't offer you anything different other than vehicle reviews from the deep south of New Zealand, which is a beautiful place. I've lived in a few countries in the world. We've been here for nearly 20 years now, and I got to tell you, it's a really nice place. Slow, quiet, beautiful scenery, 10 years behind the rest of the world. And where we live down here, now this place, this is the Transport Museum. Anybody interested in cars should really, I'll put a link to that down here. It's pretty spectacular. This place has a great history with vehicles as well. We've got the Burt Munro show. I'll put a link in about that. It's a motorcycle show. I've also got a motorbike, an old Kawasaki that I'm looking to upgrade as well. So look, leave comments, please subscribe. Look forward to any questions, anything more you want to know. I'm pretty new to making videos, as you can clearly see. Appreciate your comments, appreciate your feedback, and I'll be happy to post another video if there's any suggestions you're interested. So hey guys, thanks so much for sitting through this 17-minute ramble, and see you soon.